Let's talk about working in Germany and specifically about how to apply for a job. So, you've done your research, you found a position you're interested in, and now you want to have the application out to give you the best chance to getting an interview in the next step. I will focus on the more traditional ways of applying for jobs. There are very cool new startups that are trying to change the way the application process is handled, where people can submit their own videos to give a personal impression of themselves, or where there is job matching like Tinder. A company like Truffles does that, where the company swipes right and you swipe right, and then you match and you can talk to them. So there are many cool new innovative ways of applying for jobs. However, this is still not the majority, and we want to keep this video as general as possible so many people can take good content from it and good insights from it. So I will focus on the more traditional ways of applying for jobs. So one key element of applying are the documents. So what are you sending when you apply for a job? And there are basically two key documents that you need. Number one, and the most important one, is the CV. You will always have to send your CV with a job application. And in fact, you should always have a good CV ready. Whenever opportunity comes along, you should always have at least a PDF file on your PC that you can quickly send out. So always try to keep it up to date. There's always, if you have a LinkedIn profile, there is an export function on LinkedIn where you can just create your CV automatically. So the CV in Germany should be like anywhere in the world. It should be structured, clear, easy to read, easy to understand, and have all the relevant information to give a good impression of what you achieved and who you are as a person and as an employee. And one key element is the first impression. I know so many people who are running companies who are always actively looking for people who will say that they will throw away or they will disregard an application. Let me put it this way. An application that is just very tough to read in the first impression. Too much information, very cluttered. Your eye doesn't know where to go. It's not really clear what your main achievements were, where you worked, and it's just like layout and clarity and easiness to read. A sort of a recruiter experience instead of a user experience is key. It really is a easy, nice to read CV that is easy on the eyes. You immediately understand what is where, and have all the information is super important, because especially bigger companies and more popular companies and popular positions will get a lot of job applications. So if your application is super tough to read and has a really bad first impression, it will go on the disregarded pile, and this will be it. Like your whole application journey will be after 5 seconds of a actual human reviewing your CV. And sometimes even the first screening is not done by a human but by a software. So keep in mind that when you apply through an online page of a company, to include a lot of keywords from the job place from the job ad in the CV and have it as a PDF form, because algorithms will scan your CV for certain keywords, and if it's not there, your CV will be out by not even having been seen by any real human being. So keep in mind also that you are also always matching, or matching, not completely manufacturing, but matching enough with a job ad so that you will get by that first stage. In terms of how to structure your CV, there are many different templates out there. I will just give you one suggestion, but I think the key elements to keep in mind is always clarity and a nice experience to read it. So a good example would be, on the top you have your personal basic information, your name, your email address, where you live, your phone number, and a link to your LinkedIn profile. So when you send a PDF, it's clickable. People can go to your LinkedIn immediately. Also include a picture of yourself, a professionally taken picture of yourself in a business outfit. There are some countries like the UK and US where it's against the law to have your picture included because it's a potential basis for bias or discrimination. So in Germany, there's nothing like this. You can include, and you should include, your picture in your CV. Afterwards, have your professional experience and label it professional experience or something similar so people know, okay, this is what it's about. Have your latest position, the one that you're in right now, on the top, and then go down and backwards chronologically with all the positions you have. And for each position, list the main achievements you had and the main successes you had at the position. So and always be specific about what it was that you achieved. So say you managed a team of 10 people and not just a team of people. You achieved savings through project A of 100,000 euros in the first quarter after it was implemented. Things like this. So like really be specific about what you did, what you achieved, and do that for every position so people can kind of see a tangible progress and have something. It gives a better picture if you are specific about what you achieved. And then after the professional experience, give an overview of your academic background, so university, the program, your grade, and then have a part about you and your skills, so any language skills, IT skills, if you are a developer, the languages that you can code in. The personal section is also there to include any type of personal information, like what you'd like to do as a hobby. That is often relevant for recruiters and HR departments because they want to see actually the person behind the CV. So having a interesting hobby will often make you stand out to people because they might just be interested in getting to know someone who has a super interesting and kind of weird hobby maybe. And if you have a personal website or a portfolio, include that. It can never hurt to give a impression of you because people hire people. People don't hire CVs, and people like to work with people. So if you're an interesting person that you might be interested in, you should show it. And people will see that, and they will notice it, and they will be much more likely to invite you. So I mean, of course, always keep it professional. Don't attach anything where it's pictures of you in a bathing suit from the beach. But if you have any other creative outlet or any kind of outlet, just include it. It can never hurt to show a picture of yourself. So that is the CV. The second document is the cover letter. So it is not always required anymore. It used to be much more required. Now it's an optional thing. Nevertheless, it doesn't hurt if you include one, if you have the time to do so. It can only help to give a better impression of you to the recruiter than if you don't attach one. And for the cover letter, just always try to find reference points to the job ad, to the company. Try to showcase or demonstrate what your journey was and why you are now at the stage where this company and you are a great match. Showcase a little bit why that company, what in particular was interesting you about it, and always think a little outside the box. Try to be a bit creative. Maybe you can research a current advertising campaign of the company and take a claim, and then kind of incorporate it in there or play with it. Do something that shows people that you actually took some effort and thought about it. Of course, this always depends on the industry, but being different and standing out never hurts, especially not in a job application where you are one of many, and anything that helps you to be noticed amongst anyone else is always really, really good. So these are the two documents that you send over when you apply for a job. When you send them as an email attachment, always have them attached as a PDF. Do not send a Word or anything like this. Have a PDF. It can be read by anyone, also on a phone, which is a lot more common nowadays that people get the emails on the phone and read it. So have a PDF, have a separate PDF for each document. Clearly give a name to the document. Do not have like some automatically generated name that's done by your PC or your phone. Put CV underscore your name, cover letter underscore your names to make it really neat and easy for people to open it and understand what it is. Any barriers of understanding it and any difficulties you should take away with the application. So see it like a recruiter experience. So there are companies who are trying to design user experiences, and you are kind of reversing it and you are trying to achieve a recruiter experience. So you should always keep that in mind. When you don't respond to a job ad in a classical way, but you just want to maybe contact someone, or have a unsolicited call or a message to someone on LinkedIn, you always need to find a creative way to get the first conversation going to make yourself stand out. I've included links to this below the video on tips on how to approach recruiters on your network, and how to get the foot in the door, and maybe get a conversation going with them about possibly joining a company. And it also goes for any people that work in companies that you might be interested in, that you might have a mutual connection with. So you can always ask people to recommend you to someone else, introduce you to someone else. So there's a kind of a personal feeling to it. So it's not completely unsolicited, but they have someone that they know that is introducing them to you, and vice versa. So that always helps. And having recommendations on your LinkedIn profile is always really, really good, because people will look at your LinkedIn profile, and you should always have it up to date in such a clean and precise manner that your CV and your LinkedIn are both very, very easy and nice to read. And having the recommendation feature on LinkedIn is great, because you can have already a kind of outsider's view on your page that someone else then sees and says, "Oh well, these people recommend this person. I should at least talk to them and see what they're all about." Yeah, and similar things also go for Xing. Xing is the German equivalent to LinkedIn, still very much used by a lot of German companies, not very international, but you can also use Xing to approach people and apply unsolicited for jobs as well. Yeah, so this was a topic on applying for jobs in Germany. I hope this was of help for you, and that it gave you some inspiration to take the next step into your journey into Germany.